While lately I have been working with stable diffusion artificial intelligence technologies, we can also use in tandem technologies like LLMs, large language models. This will let us enhance our workflows as we create images in a variety of ways. And the best tool I have found for LLMs, running them locally, so you're not giving your data out, you have more control, you have more power, you can load in your own models, it's free. You can run Llama 3.2, Mistral, Phi, Gemma, DeepSeek, Qwen 2.5, and more using this tool. It is available for Windows. It is available for Linux. Officially now, it was a beta Linux version for a while, and now it has the 3.5 full release for Linux. You're going to want to install or download initially the app image for Linux or the Windows exe setup file, and you'll be able to run those files, install the Windows file, or if we can find the file, download the file. Using this page, we can select Linux, your architecture, the version, click the button, download the app image. Past releases are here. Beta and experimental releases are there. These are the release notes. This is a new function, headless mode, I'm reading, which will let you use a service to start LM Studio automatically without the GUI. So it'll run almost like an Olama server where it's headless. It's running like a Apache 2 server on your computer, like it's going to be able to serve its LLM content, the responses that it gives you, and the input you give it. What we're going to want to do is get the app image, right click. If we're on Windows, we want to give it executable permission, open it. And what I like to do is organize this right now. Go to the home directory if we're on Linux, as we have just installed the Ubuntu Studio, including getting ComfyUI running in a past video I just released. We're going to put app images directory name, add the LM Studio app image, we want to add this to places, and by right clicking the directory we can add it to places, add it to any favorites, give it tags and things, so it's easier to find your app images directory. And anytime you get an app image, you can add it to this same directory. It's just a tip for using Linux app images. You want the Open LM Studio app image. There was an issue getting the app image to run. In order to get the app image to run on Ubuntu Studio, we had to use the parameter after the command to boot the app image using ./LM Studio app image file name. We need to put --no -sandbox. The no sandbox will allow us to run LM Studio right now. And you can try this onboarding process if you'd like, which will install the model they're promoting from Meta. I click skip onboarding, and we're now running LM Studio fully. It's an Electron app. You can check the interface out. The first thing you need to do is have a model to load. It works like a VCR almost in a way. An analogy is you have to load in the model here like you're plugging in a cartridge almost. I guess that's a bad example, but you're able to load models in using LM Studio that you have downloaded. Sometimes they will call this side loading. If you're using GPT-4 All, you have to side load in a complex process in order to use the models you want that are not in their repository. So this button is the Discover section of LM Studio, where we can search for models. And I'm doing the Alien Machine AI website, alienmachine.ai. I'm still working on it, so don't go hacking it or judging it until it's finished. But I want to have a coding model. There's DeepSeek Coder V2 Lite instruct model. There's CodeStrel model for Mistral AI. We need to look at the size of the files at different quantizations, Q4, Q5, Q8. And higher quantization means larger file size, but with that you get better results, more inferences with a larger quantization. So anytime you find a large language model in this listing, you need to find the quantization relative to your VRAM. Some LLMs will run on a wide variety of hardware. Some are very large and optimized for NVIDIA GPUs with large VRAM. We're going to find the best coder model. I'm not sure which is most popular right now. I have tried several. This CodeStrill, we want to compare the number of parameters. CodeStrill has 22 billion compared to DeepSeek Coder 15.7 billion. Let's see, Q4KM. So CodeStrill has more data in it, more data points to make inferences from and give us a result. So maybe CodeStrill is more powerful, as it says Mistral's AI latest coding model. What about another coding model here? Yi Coder 9 billion, no. Quen 2.5 Coder 7 billion parameters. There is the Quen 2.5 Coder with 32 billion parameters. But it is extremely large to run a higher quantization. We can't run a Q5, Q6 quantization. We want to run at least a Q4 KM. So we're going to go back down here to run CodeStrill today, I believe. Let's read. It supports both instruction prompting and popular fill-in-the-middle tokens for predictions. Should be great all around for your coding tasks. So we can use this model. Let's choose a quantization. Based on our hardware, this option is recommended. And it may be good to not have, even though I have a 24 gigabyte GPU, I think I can do a partial GPU offload of the largest quantization. Do you think this will run on my 3090 GPU, the biggest quantization, the most full quantization with 22 billion parameters, Mistral architecture? I'm going to try to run this and we'll find out if this will run on my new GPU. It is very large. It is 23.64 gigabytes. So let's let this download. It says about 10 minutes. Once the model has finished downloading, we can try loading it. I'm not sure if this is going to load. It will just barely squeak into my VRAM in theory. Maybe it will do a partial load. It's loading. It's a GGUF file that you want to use with Ubuntu Studio. You need models in that format. I believe it has loaded. So let's ask it a question about coding. I'm working on a Joomla website. So let's just ask it a basic Joomla question regarding what I'm working with for the Alien Machine AI website, alienmachine.ai. Joomla is a content management system like WordPress, so we're just going to ask a question prompt here to test this huge model. What are some of the what are all of the best practices to secure a new Joomla installation running on PHP 8.3 Apache 2 server on Linux Ubuntu server version if using themes from Joomla to give it some specifics and things that it will be able to parse, make inferences from. It needs words and data to make inferences from. It goes into the neural network contained in this model file. Creating an output based on the neurons relationship between them. There are weights created from vector lengths that describe the relationship, how similar and how strongly things correlate are what the weights are derived from. And that is how these neural networks work on some level. So we are submitting the question. And it's going slow, but it will probably make a good answer. Let's see how long the answer is. That is one judge. How long, how detailed, how accurate. And from here, we can ask more questions referencing the first answer, and it will take into account the whole conversation. And this is running all on our own hardware, free, legal, and it's more powerful because we're running it on a 24 gigabyte GPU. It's not an instant result like ChatGPT, but it's a more thorough result. We have more control. We can next go mess with parameters, other options. We could interface this, make us an LM Studio server so that other applications can connect to it like an LM Studio server. As we saw, there is now a headless option, and we're just talking as this generates, and we'll look at what it says and how extensive it is. It seems extensive. It's on the 8th point or tip. And I will actually use this, so I'm going to want to copy this and save this in a Joplin notebook. And we can ask it things about stable diffusion, perhaps a different model. We can find a model that will be ideal for that kind of thing. Maybe the coding models would work because they're trained in Python. It depends what you need. It's on number 12. Let's see what it says. Update Joomla. use good passwords, change the default admin username, use HTTPS. So these are all standard recommendations. Let's see if there's anything really unique. So you would want to go and ask more questions. And it's still generating more. It's got 16. So this is a very extensive answer. But you can go and ask in more detail each one of these in particular, and it will give you whatever you need in detail. This does have information that seems slightly Joomla specific. It's also general recommendations for any content management system, but it's what we asked for. So that's one example of what we can do with a code model LLM in LM Studio. You could ask it almost anything. You could use a different type of model and use it for any LLM task running on your hardware for free, easily, securely, and most of all, most privately. We're not feeding a commercial company's AI with our own data in the process of using it and becoming their product. So that's all for today with Alien Machine AI and local LLMs with LM Studio. Stay tuned for more.